And now, from Austin, Texas, the live music capital of the world, it's the Bling Johnson Show. The house band is Lucas Cook and the Collection. Security provided by Bubba Incorporated. And now, from Let's Get Famous Customs in Austin, Texas, a man who relies more on his wit than his intellect, Bling Johnson.
Beautiful day in Detroit. We are right on.
Sun is shining, the sky is blue. Birds are chirping, I'm thinking of you. My friend, you should be here. And ain't it a shame? On Wednesday night they'll be singing at Hills. The girls will dance and the beer will flow. But it won't be the same without you.
Welcome to the Bling Johnson Show. I remember it was last year and you were kind of telling it. So this is the man, the local. We'll be right back after these messages.
I can hear you scream, hey, hoo-dee-hoo.
Maybe next time they're going to give you some good cowboy boots up there.
That's right.
Since you've been gone, I've been doing all right.
Did you just say I'm an Austin landmark?
I'm playing shows nearly every night. My
Toby,
friend,
thanks for everything, man. Thanks for all.
And ain't it a shame?
Oh. There he goes.
I'm making music, getting played on the radio.
Oh, and a good game. Excellent save back there.
Victories will come true, but it won't be the same.
Speakeasy. Give it up for this venue.
The same without you.
Be sure to check out Thunderstick.
I can see
It's
you
fun, it's entertaining, it's fast, it's fast-paced.
We have finished the tattoo segment.
I can hear you scream, hey, hoo-dee-hoo.
It's great to see you again.
I love you, man.
Well,
Give it up for Lucas. Do it right here, everybody. Bracelet. It's in there somewhere. It's all there. All right, finally, taking the pressure off of me. Episode 9 of the Bling Johnson.
Simon's at night, it's the South Austin lullaby.
Fine, it's friends with you.
When I think back
So we
now
know who you
on
are.
all the times that we shared, we were living larger than New York in the Southland. And I can hear you scream, hey, hoo-dee-hoo.
Oh, hey, how are all three of you doing? Yeah!
looked out my window and watched her as she passes by. Hey, wait, you're not even getting the moves. Check this out.
Go do whatever you want, I don't care.
Say to myself.
Bling, why don't you give everybody a little history about where you started with the show, and I know some of those early days when you were kind of conceptualizing the show.
Yeah.
It was that light bulb went off one day. Why don't you tell everybody about how that all started?
Yeah, well, thanks for coming out to the shop, John. I appreciate it. And I appreciate everything you're doing with TexasMusicNews.net. I know you guys highlight the music scene, kind of like what we're trying to do.
Yes.
And I followed what you're doing, and you've had a lot of the artists that have been on our show. You've interviewed them for your website, and I know they appreciate it, and we appreciate it. But yeah, basically, this whole thing started a few years ago, almost 3 years ago now, making YouTube videos. And what happened, which I think a lot of people can probably relate to, is I went through a separation. I was married for 13 years, and I have 3 kids, and I went through a separation and divorce, and her family is back in Florida, so she went back to Florida with the kids. And I was at a point where I think a lot of people get to, where you're at that point where you're trying to figure out, where's my life going to go right now? And is it going to go a good direction? Am I just, a lot of my buddies, going through this situation can kind of really, you can get off track pretty quick. And I just said, I'm not going to do that. And so what I did was, on the weekends, I just started going out with my video camera downtown on 6th Street, wore a white suit and all the crazy stuff that you guys, probably a lot of people have seen, and started making these videos. And what was cool about it was I'd go downtown to 6th Street. I'd kind of come up with a different theme every week, and we'd just go down there and start filming crazy stuff. And people started watching it. And I remember the third episode I did was the day after Michael Jackson died. And I went down there, and I didn't want to do anything really highlighting all the controversial parts of his life and all that. Really, I just wanted to do like a celebration of the music that he put out and all that. So we went around asking people their favorite Michael Jackson song or dance move. And man, we got everybody, including Michael Balderrama. Michael, if you're watching, thank you for doing that. The ratings of single moms across the city went crazy. And that's really how it got started, is just going down and making YouTube videos and making people laugh. We started to build a following on Facebook, eventually on Twitter, and on our YouTube channel as well.
So all these different segments that you've done on the street and in the clubs and everything, you can still find them on your website, right?
Yeah, you can go to blingjohnson.com, and they're all there. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/blingjohnson. And man, we probably have 100 and something videos on there. And yeah, even the old stuff is on there. I mean, that's where this all started, as far as building the following, and that's how it's gotten to where it is today.
Well, I know every once in a while I go visit your page, and listen, if you want a good laugh, go to blingjohnson.com and go look at some of those past archival footages when he first started. You will laugh, I'm telling you. Well, listen, you cover a lot of the music here in Austin.
Yep.
And, your house band, Lucas Cook and the Collection.
Yep.
Why don't you give everybody a little heads up on, how you met Lucas? And, he does a great job on your show.
Yeah,
and he's just a fine man, so.
He is. He's a really good guy, and the group of people he surrounds himself with are just top-notch, not only musicians, but people. And that all got started. A friend of mine, Robin Douda, actually made the connection and said, hey, you guys need to meet, because Lucas was watching my stuff and he wanted some help with a video, and so that's how we met. And one of the first things that Lucas and I did was his song, Austin State of Mind.
Oh, yeah.
And what we did is we went and it's all about Austin and Tito's and vodka, this and that. It's a real authentic Austin song. And we went and danced in front of 41 locations all over town for 4 seconds at each location. Took like 2 weeks to film it all. And that was the first big thing that really got some traction around here, was his song with me and him going around dancing everywhere.
Well, I know when you watch that video, you see some of those people, especially in some of those bars and restaurants, and they're looking at you like, well, what the heck is this?
They had no clue. We went into Chewy's over off 183 during happy hour, went into the bar area. I just walked in wearing my white suit, white hat and everything, set up the camera by the chips and salsa, turned it around, went over there in front of all these people and started dancing for 10 seconds. I got done, grabbed the camera, and just left.
Right.
Nobody knows what we're doing.
Right.
And it's some of the funniest stuff. I mean, that's how Lucas and I got started. And as we progressed and the TV show came about, I knew he was the guy I wanted as our house band, because he has a real Austin feel to his music. He has a real soul to his music, and there's just a passion there that you don't really hear in everybody's music. And so we talked, and I said, hey, I'm thinking about this TV show concept. We're talking to some networks, and if I pull this thing off, would you be interested in being the house band? He goes, man, whatever you need. He goes, I'm totally supportive of what you're doing. And he's been there ever since, and he has a bunch of great people in his band. We call it Lucas Cook and the Collection because there's so many artists that he plays with. He has his band that was on his CD, and he has some other folks that'll help him out when some of those guys aren't available. So it's a collection of people that have the same passion that we all do to play music in Austin and to further the whole TV show idea.
Well, speaking of Lucas Cook, if you go to texasmusicnews.net, you can listen to the last interview I did with Lucas Cook. And we did an interview to support his new release, Toe Tapper. It's a fantastic CD. I recommend everybody go get it.
Somehow I never understood.
All right, well, you know, all the videos you did were one right after another. I think it was, how many years did you do the videos?
Well, when it started, we did 23 videos, 23 weeks in a row. We'd go film every weekend, edit on Sundays, launch on Monday mornings. That's how we built our following initially. And then after that, we just kept doing them. So we've been doing the videos for close to 3 years now.
Well, at some point in there had to be that spark of ingenuity or something that hit you that said, you know, we've been doing this and a lot of people really like the videos. When was that nexus of thought that hit you that said, we might have something here that people would like to see, you know, on TV?
Yeah, what happened was, in fact, about a year ago now, two things happened at the same time. I had a musician friend of mine that was trying to get on a local channel, get some of his music videos played on this local channel that would play music videos. And then he talked to the station, and they kind of got with me and he told him what we were doing. And that began some conversations about a TV show concept. And then that never happened with them, but the light bulb went off, like you're saying. And I said, you know what? We need to put together a show that incorporates this we call Bling on the Street, these Bling on the Street videos, and the crazy stuff I do, because I travel a lot too for different things, and I'll film in Daytona and Las Vegas and New Orleans, all over. And we'll throw those segments in there. But I said, let's highlight the music scene, because I have a real passion for Austin. I have a passion for the type of people that are here and the music scene. And that's when I realized if we highlight the music scene and do some cool stuff mixed in there, if we create a show that incorporates a lot of things that I think are cool, I think it'll resonate, and I think people will want to watch it. And so we put some things together as far as a package, and that's what we began to start pitching to a few different networks. But before that happened, in fact, it's been about a year now. I had gone to the doctor for from testing. I wasn't feeling right. Things just weren't right, and I didn't know what it was. And so they did a lot of blood work, and they said, we're not trying to alarm you, and we're not saying it is cancer, but we think there's a probability that you have a certain type of leukemia. And I'm just like freaking out. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I mean, I'm not that old. I feel okay, but I just knew something was up. And it took them close to 2 months between test after test. I was going to the hospital and doctor all the time, and I really didn't tell anybody about it, because I don't like getting all that stuff when you're going through it. I don't really like talking about all that kind of stuff. And through that, though, when I actually thought that there was something legitimately wrong, I realized then the YouTube videos are fun, but if something happens where I'm okay, then I want to do something that's really going to make a difference, and not just highlighting me, hey, I'm Bling Johnson, I'm funny, look at me, but something that I could do that would be impactful, that would last after I'm gone, and something that would make a difference, that would get people talking, excited, and get people watching. And I'll never forget the day I went to the doctor for the final time, and they gave me the test results, and they said, we've determined that it was some erratic blood levels of certain things, but they said it's not leukemia, it's no cancer, you're free of any type of cancer. And as happy as I was, it really was a catalyst. It was a motivator for me, because I'm like, if that would have been cancer, I had already decided I was going to do the same thing and still not tell anybody and drive this thing. And I said, just because I don't, I'm going to fight just as hard. And that's what got that was the thing that really got me to say, we're going to make this into a TV show. And we started pitching it to the networks, and then we got a deal with the network, and then we started on TV, and that's kind of how that got going. And it's just a weird deal, because I think sometimes it takes things in your life that really suck or real challenges to get you to look at something different and say, you know what, I got to do something different with my life, more meaningful. And that's why we do so much work with charities and try to give back to these musicians.
No, so I want to talk a little bit about the production of the
Yeah.
show. And I've been there pretty much from the start and seen everything you've been doing, and there's some technical aspects to producing a TV show.
Yeah.
Why don't you give everybody a little insight as far as starting the process of doing a TV show, and then finally discovering the things you might not have all worked out, and then here you have a TV show.
Man, I'll never forget it. We did episode 1 of season 1, right where we're sitting right now here at Let's Get Famous Customs.
I remember it very well. It was only how hot?
Oh, it was 120 in here at least. It was last summer was hot, as everybody knows, and it was so hot in here. Everybody was just sweating. But the energy was so cool because everybody was excited to be here and excited to be a part of this whole project. But we learned a lot. First thing we learned is when you turn on your camera, the first thing you should check is that it's actually set to high definition. Because if it's not, you're going to record a TV show at 480 like the old TVs. And that happened on episode 1. The main camera, actually this camera that we're recording on right now, we didn't have set to HD. And I was so frustrated. To be honest with you, we didn't realize that until we went back after we filmed 2 episodes. So it wasn't until episode 3 that we even knew that we had an issue. Because we were in production mode, and then editing mode came after that. So we fixed that. We really worked on the sound last year. The bands, there's so many logistics when you go to a different venue every single week, which we do. There's so many logistical things as far as how many inputs do you have off their drums and their equipment, our recording equipment. We found out that our recording device, if you set it too close to a subwoofer, that it'll make it skip and basically turn it off because it thinks there's something going on. And that happened one night, but we caught it and fixed it in time. But I got to tell you, Lawrence Grafton is our sound engineer, and his wife's one of our producers, and they just worked miracles. I mean, he would take these songs and engineer every track, every part of the drums, not just the drums as a whole, vocals, everything. And I think if you go back and watch the videos, episodes 1 through 12, there's a progression that a lot of people talk to us about and noticed, which I was most proud of that, because I think that starting out, you're not going to have it all figured out, and we didn't. And we're still learning, but we really progressed season 1, and we feel like with season 2, we've gotten another camera, we got another one inbound, we got more wireless mics like we're talking on now, and so the production quality continues to go up, and we're going to keep it going up. One of the things I'm most excited about is we got one of these GoPro cameras, this camera right here, if you're watching on that one, and it has a fisheye lens. It bolts onto a lot of different stuff. A lot of people use them on those helmet cams for surfing and snowboarding, and we're gonna have a lot of fun with that camera season 2. We've already filmed some stuff, and it's pretty cool.
And the lights are much better too this year.
Yes. We actually have lights without bulbs that you buy at Home Depot. It's amazing what you learn, and we learned a lot about sound, lighting, film. I'd never had a TV show before. I'd always taken a small consumer video camera, plugged a microphone into it, put a bright light on it, and that's all. And a lot of nights it was just me doing that.
So there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that the regular common people that watch TV or go to a movie or whatever would never really know how tedious it actually is, and the learning curve of, like you said, if you do this with this, and all of a sudden you get this. You just would never know that until you actually go do it.
Yep. And we have a crew of about 10 people, best crew in the world, because we're all in the same boat. Nobody really has TV or production backgrounds. We have a photographer, Bethany. You can go to bethanylynn.com, check out her website, and just a great crew of people that have been there from the start. And I got to say this. Everybody that's been a part of the show works for free. Nobody has made any money on the show. A lot of the money I've invested in the shop and in the production of the show and everything is money I've come up with, and some partners of ours have partnered with us on some of that, because we all believe that we have something. And so this show every week is completely self-funded. Everybody thinks, oh, you have a TV deal. Well, we have a TV deal to air the show on TV, but the TV station isn't paying us. And our goal is for that to change. But as of now, it's totally self-funded, and everybody that works on the show works for free because they believe in what we're doing, and I can't thank them enough. So our whole staff, a shout out to all you guys. Thank you for everything that you do for me and for the show and for all the venues and artists here in town.
Okay, well, you've had a lot of really interesting music artists on the show in season 1. Why don't you give a shout out to some of the people that have been on, and also give everybody a little history of some of the venues that some of these shows have been taped at.
Yep. What we're trying to do with the show is highlight the music scene in Austin, and in a different way, though. What I want to do is create a show that I felt like if I thought it was cool, then maybe people would kind of think it was cool and it would resonate with them and they would want to watch it. So what we decided to do is film at a different venue every week. And we filmed everywhere from the Broken Spoke, like we talked about, to Antone's, to the Continental Club, the stage on 6th, out at Uncle Billy's, out at the lake, and a lot more. 12 at 12. Lukenbach had us. They were great. And by doing that, what's cool is you hit a different crowd everywhere you go. And we had some great artists. I mean, everybody from obviously Lucas Cook and the Collection, Patricia Vaughn was on, Ginger Lee, Cameron Nelson. I mean, so many people.
Rod Williams.
Rod Williams was awesome. I mean, I love listening to Rod's music. It's genuine and real, true Texas.
Cody Rowe.
Cody Rowe. If we don't hit all 12, one of them's going to get mad at me. And then we finished up in Lukenbach with Bob Snyder. And that was probably the coolest interview, I think, that I had all year, because we got real for a second. And if you know Bob, which I don't pretend to know him really well, but I mean, we've talked and know each other a little bit. He's into his music, he's into doing his shows, and you don't know a whole lot more about him. You know, you hear a few things here and there, but you don't really know about him. And I didn't really expect him to open up with me. I expected it to be real kind of a nice surface interview, and we're on our way. But I told him how his one song, Changing Your Mind, has really affected me personally, because every time I go to see my kids every month, they're in Florida, and that's part of my life that I don't really talk about a lot, people don't really know about, but it's important to me that they know I love them, that I want to be their dad, and that them living in Florida and me living in Texas is not because I'm choosing to not want to live by them. There's other circumstances involved there. And so every time I go there, I get on the plane to fly home, and the first song I listen to is Changing Your Mind, because it's just it's kind of eerie, and it's just Bob singing this song about, I can't change your mind. And to me, it kind of sums up my whole situation there, in one song. And it always I usually try to fall asleep, or it's kind of an emotional time for me every time. And I just told him that. I said, thanks for writing that song, because this song is the thing that kind of helps me with the transition of leaving my kids every single month to coming back here and getting back to work and to the things that I do here. And he started telling me about his son and his divorce, and he just really opened up and couldn't have been any nicer. And that was probably just the coolest moment I've had so far on the show. And season 1 was awesome. I mean, it was just a lot of second.
Well, you've put a lot of energy into this shop where we're sitting today at Let's Get Famous Customs.
Yeah.
Tell everybody about, your passion for making the shop better and better and better, and all the things that you do here. I know you have a big passion for the Harley motorcycles.
Yeah.
And why don't you give everybody a little heads up about what you're doing here at the shop?
Yeah, this shop is interesting. The biggest question I get asked is, what is Let's Get Famous Customs? Because so far we haven't seen you customize a whole lot. And the reality is, I built this shop with a vision in mind. It was kind of a, if you build it, they will come kind of thing. And the vision was, I wanted a shop that I could do cool stuff, that I could, we made it look cool, because I wanted it to kind of represent what Austin's all about. But I customized a lot of my Harley here. I have a Cadillac DeVille that we're about to customize and really make it the shop car. It's going to be the flat black and just really cool. So we're going to be actually customizing a lot of things. What I tell people is, Let's Get Famous Customs. The tagline is, we make stuff cool. And so we're going to be doing all sorts of projects. Like there's a go-kart project I want to do with my kids this summer when they come out. I just got a new trailer for the Harley, and I'm going to weld up some really cool stuff on there. Just a lot of interesting projects that I think we're going to have them as small clips on the show, and I think people will be interested in some of the things that we're doing. Joe Martin has just joined us for this season of the show. And for those of you who don't know, Joe Martin is part of the Martin Brothers bike company. They have been making custom choppers. He's been on countless magazine covers. He's well known in the biker industry as a bike builder. And he actually just moved to Austin from Dallas. And so the guys over at Harley hooked me up with him, and we started filming segments for season 2 out at his shop in his backyard out in Dripping Springs, and he's opening a shop here in town. And he's going to be working with us on a lot of these projects. He's a world-renowned and awarded painter. He does all his own paintwork, metalwork, and everything. And he's won the Biker Build-Off on Discovery Channel 3 times. So I couldn't be more thrilled to have Joe Martin a part of this season. I mean, that's kind of going to give us a level of credibility on a fabrication standpoint that I think is really going to be cool and people will really enjoy watching. And the last thing I'm going to say on that is, We're not trying to be Jesse James. I'm not trying to be anybody, you know, that's already done these kind of things. All I do want to do is the things that I think are cool, I want to put on TV and hope that people like them. And some of the things work, some don't, and some don't.
Well, listen, as far as the shop here, you've had a new addition.
Yeah.
And that's been the stage.
Yep.
A lot of the bands are going to come here and perform here and do tape segments here. Why don't you tell everybody about what your plans are for the stage here at Let's Get Famous Customs?
Yeah, what we did is we built a stage, and we call it Bling Johnson's Let's Get Famous Stage. And what I wanted to do is have a place, you know, this is in an industrial area, so I wanted to have a place that I could have bands come out. And there's a lot of these guys that need music videos. They're really good, but the only thing they ever have is somebody taking a cell phone recording of a song that the sound is too loud to really pick up very good, and that's really all they have. So what we're trying to do is help these guys and girls have a place to come where we can set up our lighting and cameras, and whether it's part of the show or maybe sometimes it's not even part of the show, and just help them make videos here at Let's Get Famous, the Let's Get Famous stage. And that's the goal, is to help them get famous. That's why I always say let's get famous. It's not just me, it's everybody, all of us. Let's all get famous.
Well, Bling, why don't you tell everybody about season 2? I know that's going to be airing pretty soon, and that show was a big one. Over at Central Texas Harley Davidson. Had a lot of people, a lot of energy. I know it's going to kick off season 2. And tell everybody about season 2, the start of the series.
Man, I am really excited about it. It's actually going to be on a week from tonight, so you're watching this on Sunday night. It's going to be on next Sunday night, April 15th at 9:30 p.m. right here on KBVO, and it'll be on blingjohnson.com right after that. So for those of you not in the area, we put them online right after they air on TV, because we have a lot of fans in Houston, Dallas, and Florida, all over the place. What was really cool is I went out to Daytona Bike Week in Daytona Beach, Florida. And with that new GoPro camera, it was cool because I hooked it on my Harley. I towed my Harley out there. Got some really interesting footage that you've never seen before because of the camera angles you can get with this fisheye lens. It's just cool. And we got some really, really funny interviews. At Bike Week, you get a wide range of people. And we got another shirt for Rick from Central Texas Harley, and let's just say that he's going to be more than surprised when he sees what the shirt went through before it got back to him. And we got some, let's just say we got some very attractive women on that episode, because out at Bike Week, there is no shortage of attractive women. Most of the time they're working the booths and the beer carts and everything, but we got some really cool stuff coming.
Well, everybody, you need to check out this show. And when does it air now?
Next Sunday night, so April 15th, 9:30 p.m. right here on KBVO.
Well, Bling, hey, thanks for being here, and thanks for accepting my request to do this interview with you, and really look forward to season 2 and all the good and fun stuff you've got prepared for the segments in season 2. And you know, I really, really enjoyed myself, and look forward to more interviews with you.
Well, man, I got to tell you, thanks for coming out to so many of the shows, for supporting what we're doing, for coming out and doing this interview. You know, hopefully it gave people a little bit of a unique perspective on the heart behind the show, and there's a lot of it behind here. So thanks for coming out, man. I appreciate you stopping by.
No, it's my pleasure.
Now let's get famous. I wanna be famous. Everybody wanna be famous. Let's get famous. I wanna be famous. Everybody wanna be famous. Let's get famous. I wanna be famous. Everybody wanna be famous. Let's get famous. I wanna be famous. Everybody wanna be famous. Let's get famous.
I got black friends. I got Mexican friends. I even got some white friends.
I don't have any black friends or white friends. I just have Bling Johnson.
What?